Welcome one and all to this broadcast of T-Bolts Baseball on Takoma Park City TV. My name is Ian Binky along with Jacob Goldberg. And Jacob, a big ball game here tonight at Blair Stadium.
It is a massive ball game. T-Bolts have playoff implications. With DC currently trailing over the Bethesda Big Train, they are still alive for a playoff spot, so this game is certainly going to matter.
So in the Ripken League, 6 teams make the playoffs. T-Bolts are currently 7th in the league. But if the T-Bolts win out and the Grays lose out, T-Bolts still need to win by 10 runs on Saturday night, but not an impossibility.
Not an impossibility. The T-Bolts actually lost by double digits in DC earlier this year. Although it's a 7-inning game, that's going to hurt the T-Bolts' chances, but never say die. If you get to that last game, anything can happen.
So here a big game tonight against the Cropdusters, and Jacob, T-Bolts are sending Garnett out to the mound. Big ball game. What do they have to do to come away with the win?
Well, it's the first time we've each seen Garnett pitch, but in his first appearance against Gaithersburg, a lot of walks, and that's been the key for T-Bolts pitchers all season long. Just limit the balls thrown and limit the free base runners, and you'll have success here in the California League. So pitchers like Mishra, pitchers like Rochelle, who limit the walks, that's what's going to help them.
Garnett coming off of Tommy John surgery in 2021, so it's his rehab start, and he's trying to get the ship righted out. And last time these two teams played, the Cropdusters came out with a huge victory.
Well, Cropdusters, they have a great fan base in Olney, and that certainly helped them. Their fan base got involved early with some really early runs into the game. So the T-Bolts, this time the fans on their side. The question is whether or not they can get off to an early run and keep that going. Their problem all season long has been keeping early leads, but at Blair, it's been friendly to them.
And the Thunderbolts, of course, last night here at Blair came away with a big victory against the DC Grays for their playoff hopes in Game 2 of a doubleheader.
Yeah, Game 1 they lost, which sadly they lost. It made Game 2 a must-win. So every game here on out is a playoff game for the T-Bolts, and last night was one of those. They did not let the pressure get to them. Great pitching performance from Ethan Mishra. He kept the T-Bolts' playoff hopes alive.
Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts and the Olney Cropdusters coming your way on Takoma Park City TV in just a few moments.
I'm Neil Levon, and along with my broadcast partner Ian Benke, we are coming to you live from Blair Baseball Stadium, where the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts are hosting the Olney Cropdusters in a game, Ian, that both teams want to win, but the Thunderbolts have to win.
Absolutely. If the T-Bolts hope to stay in the playoff race, they need to win tonight, whereas Olney, if they get a big win, they can have a chance to challenge for third place overall in the regular season standings.
We've been going through the permutations of all of the various combinations involving the Thunderbolts' slim, but still doable playoff chances. And it all comes down to the Thunderbolts have to win and the Grays have to lose. But tonight, the Thunderbolts have to win this game, and should the Grays lose their next 3, then the Grays would come here on Saturday 1 game ahead of the Thunderbolts, and the Thunderbolts would have to win that game by 11 runs to win the second tiebreaker and move on to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's certainly long odds, but if the Grays can win by 10 runs at their own place, T-Bolts can win by 10 here at Blair. It's certainly a chance that the T-Bolts can sneak in.
It's been a topsy-turvy, wild ride in the Ripken League, and I've been around this league for a long time, and I cannot remember how many various races within the league have been taking place between the first and second place teams, among the third through fifth place teams. The Grays in sixth are challenging to move up, and then Silver Spring-Takoma in seventh is challenging to overtake the Grays. So there's a lot going on in the last couple of days of the season.
And as you mentioned, it's been a very long time since you can even remember a team challenging Bethesda for a regular season title. And all the Aces have to do is win out, and they will overtake Bethesda for top spot in the league.
And that would mean that the Aces would have home field advantage for the entire playoffs, which means something.
Yes, it does.
All right, well, let me run down the lineups for the visiting Olney Cropdusters. Leading it off is Cole Hauser from Millersville. He'll be the catcher tonight. Batting second is the shortstop, Andrew Brait from the University of Central Florida. Batting third is the third baseman, Joseph Mershon from the College of Charleston. Batting cleanup, it's the first baseman, Ryan Shea, Ryan from Liberty University. Batting fifth, it's the designated hitter, Will Baumhoeffer from the College of Charleston. Batting sixth, it's Cavi Coster, the center fielder, Cavi from Salisbury University. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Jacob Orr from the University of Maryland. Batting in the eighth slot, it's Jake Milan from Florida Atlantic. Jake playing left field today, Jacob Orr playing second. Batting ninth, it's Tyler Wright, the right fielder, also from Millersville University. And pitching tonight for the Olney Cropdusters is Brett Siles, the right-hander out of Towson University, where he's a sophomore, hails from neighboring Bethesda. The head coach of the Cropdusters is Adam Leader. The assistant coach is Danny O'Hagan, Gunnar Hellstrom, Josh Sales. The umpires for tonight's game, DeAndre Anderson behind the plate, Norm Gordon at first, and Jerry Park at third. So now, Ian, the T-Bolts lineup.
So for the homestanding Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, they'll start things off with a left fielder, Casey Gibbs, a sophomore from VCU. Batting second is the designated hitter, Beck Urofsky. He's a freshman from Cornell. Batting third is the shortstop, Jack Catrone. He's a sophomore from Davidson College. Cleaning things up is the catcher, Nathan Waugh, a junior from Cornell. Batting fifth is the right fielder, Calvin Brown. He's a junior from the University of Pennsylvania. Batting sixth is the center fielder, Garrett Jr., a junior from Lander. Batting seventh, the first baseman, Eli Putnam, a sophomore from Davidson College. Batting eighth, Rio Fabre, the second baseman. He's a senior from Marymount University. Batting ninth is the third baseman, Bobby Leitzel, a junior from Hartford Community College. And on the mound for the Thunderbolts, a left-handed pitcher, Travis Garnett, a sophomore from the University of Maryland, standing 6'6".
Now, I must say it was a bit of a surprise when I saw that Travis Garnett was scheduled to start. He pitched two-thirds of an inning in Gaithersburg, had some control problems. Brock Hunter has selected him to pitch. Brock knows pitchers, so I think Brock has seen something in the big lefty that makes him ready to go to the mound for the Thunderbolts in this must-win game today.
And as we mentioned in the lead-up to this ball game, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery. So this is his first game action he's really had since his high school career at Indian Creek High School. So it's all about just getting back into the groove of things for next school year for him, attending the University of Maryland. And he's trying to really settle in and throw strikes tonight.
Well, it was really not a fair assessment of his pitching for that one outing when he hadn't pitched all year to expect him to go in and just act like he had been playing the entire season. So we'll see how he does here tonight. There's Bryce Smith in the bullpen kind of walking around, and I'm not sure if he's on standby or is getting ready just in case it doesn't work again with Travis. But for now, I think I'm going to go with Brock's judgment and say that Garnett is locked and loaded and ready to go.
I say so too. You know, everything coming in, doing our research before the season started, you see Garnett and you notice he was the fifth best recruit out of Maryland in his high school class and was one of the top 150 prospects in the nation. So certainly has that potential. It's just all about trying to get back into his groove after going under the knife.
Always tough. I know one of our pitchers who was with us in 2019, Alex Mikett, also from Millersville, was expected to pitch for us, couldn't. His coaches said, let's let the Tommy John surgery settle for another season. He might be with us next year. So here's Cole Hauser, the catcher for the Cropdusters, leading it off. Unusual to see a catcher as a leadoff batter, but there you go. Hauser hitting .389. That might explain why he's a leadoff batter. First pitch is in the dirt, ball one.
Hauser, good eye at the plate.
Beautiful sunshiny afternoon here in Maryland, albeit very warm. Next pitch from Garnett is high, ball two. 94 degrees at game time. 2-0 to Hauser. Andrew Brate, the shortstop on deck. The left-hander wheels and delivers. That's outside, ball three.
Garnett digging on the mound out there, just trying to find his landing point. Step one of getting your command.
Well, he started on the road, so let's see how he does here at home. The next pitch, that's in there for a strike as DeAndre Anderson calls it on the corner. 3-1 for Cole Hauser. It'll be Hauser, Wright, and Mershon for the Cropdusters. And that's outside ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Cole Hauser. Down to first he'll go. That'll bring up the shortstop, Andrew Wright. Wright hitting .300 on the year with 24 walks, 11 RBIs, and we talked in previous games about how batters are taking lots of walks.
They absolutely are.
There's ball 1 to Wright.
And when you're facing a pitcher that has had command issues, granted only one appearance, but that's all the book that you have on him, you're more willing to wait him out than if you're facing a guy like Ethan Misher who just throws strikes.
Garnett throws over to first. The throw nearly gets away from Eli Putnam, who's down at first. In the Thunderbolts bullpen, that looks like, who's that, Ryan Quadros down there and Taeguk Kim. Getting ready just in case that's high. 2 balls and no strikes to Wright.
Looks like that's either Quadros or Chandler Mohler warming up on the left side of the bullpen, but trying to get Garnett in the groove here.
2 balls, no strikes. Runner on first, nobody out, top of the first. Here's the pitch. That's right down University Boulevard, strike 1.
Happy news to report for Thunderbolts fans. The big train came out on top in Game 1 of DC's doubleheader, 4-3. DC another game to play tonight against Gaithersburg.
So that makes this game even more critical. The next pitch, that's high. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, it keeps the T-Bolts alive. If the Grays won Game 1 of their doubleheader tonight, the season was pretty much finished up. The T-Bolts had no chance to come back and get that playoff spot, but hope's still alive.
3 balls, 1 strike. Garnett checks the runner. Delivers high ball 4. So 2 walks to lead off the top of the first. Down to second goes Hauser. On to first goes Wright, and that brings up the third baseman, Joseph Mershon. Mershon, their leading hitter, hitting .418. He's 28 for 67, 14 RBIs, 1 home run, 2 triples, 4 doubles. So Garnett's got his work cut out here. Garnett checks the runners, and here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike, 0-1.
And Mershon, one of those players that has had the T-Bolts number all year. 6 for 13 with 2 extra base hits, 5 RBI, 6 walks, only 1 strikeout.
So hopefully Garnett's finding the range here. He checks and delivers, and that's a nice curveball. Doesn't get the call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Setting the infield for you, Bobby Leitzel at third base, Jack Catrone at short, Rio Fabre at second, and Eli Putnam playing first. Putnam in on the grass. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch, and that's high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Given the importance of this game, you wonder how long Brock Hunter will go with Garnett if he really starts to get into trouble here with bases on balls. 2 balls and a strike. That's high ball 3. So Garnett 1 pitch away from loading him up with no outs for the cleanup hitter Ryan Shea. Big pitch for the lefty. And that's line down the left field line, but foul over the bullpen of the Grays and out onto University Boulevard.
Heads up over there. People crossing over in the intersection don't want to get hit.
3 balls, 2 strikes, full count to Mershon. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Top of the first, no score. Cropdusters and Thunderbolts. Here's the pitch. And he gets the call on an inside fastball, and down goes Mershon. Big strikeout for Garnett.
Well, that fastball is electric. He's just trying to control it, and he got it there, right on the inside edge. Nothing Mershon could do but take the bat and take it back to the dugout.
So Garnett picks up a big strikeout. I think that's his first of the season. So here's Ryan Shea, the first baseman. Again, the Thunderbolts set the infield. That's high for ball one as the middle infielders try to chase Hauser back to second. Shea hitting .234, 6 RBIs on the season. Pitch, and that's a little high, ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes.
Housekeeping a little bit. That was Garnett's first strikeout of the year.
You don't believe me.
No, just making sure.
That's fouled out of play. 2 balls and a strike. No, that's fine. That's what you should do.
So I was listening to his first outing up in New York, so just double checking. I didn't recall him getting a strikeout, but could have turned it off before he got it. I did not recall.
2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Shea. Will Baumhoeffer, the DH, on deck. Garnett looks in. Here's the pitch. Just misses the outside corner. Count goes 3-1. So we've been here before. Went to 3-2 on Mershon. Went to 3-1 on Wright. Walked him. Went to 3-1 on Hauser. Walked him. Garnett at the stretch and delivers, and that's inside ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Cropdusters with an excellent opportunity to score some runs. Out goes Nathan Waugh to the mound to talk to Garnett.
And for Garnett, it's just all a matter of controlling your stuff. He has that swing and miss pitch. That fastball is nasty, and haven't really seen his off speed at all tonight. So maybe while trying to dial in that fastball first behind the plate before going to the secondary pitches.
There's Evan Rochelle warming up, the lefty in the T-Bolts bullpen. That looks like a serious warm-up. So here's Will Baumhoeffer, the DH, with the bases loaded. 1 down, takes ball 1.
Corner infielders, Bobby Lightsell at third, and Eli Putnam pulled in, but now everyone will convene on the mound as
Brock Hunter's going out. Of the 21 pitches, or make that 22 pitches, Garnett has thrown 16 balls and 6 strikes.
And as you said, this is similar to the start that he had in Gaithersburg, just struggling to get that control. But you have 1 out in the inning. If you induce a ground ball, you could get yourself out of this jam, but that involves throwing a strike, and he just needs to find the zone.
Cropdusters fighting for 3rd place with the Gaithersburg Giants. They're a half game behind. So this game means a lot to them as well.
Wouldn't that be great to have home field advantage for that play-in game? Atmosphere at First Responder Field would be electric.
And they're tied with South County for that 4th spot. First pitch is outside, gets away from Waugh, but runs up the 3rd baseline, no advance. So 2 balls and no strikes. Is Travis Garnett starting to run out of places to put people. And he's got to pick up a strike in the count. 2-0 to Baumhoeffer. Garnett wheels and delivers. There's a strike, 2-1, picked it up.
So far, we've only seen Olney swing the bat once, and it was a foul ball. So Garnett just trying to find the zone. They haven't offered at him yet.
2-1. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled at the plate. That was a good-looking pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, there's a swing and miss, and you know, you talk about it. Just get the pitches close to the zone. You'll get these batters to chase.
The Cropdusters in their banana yellow, I guess you'd call it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Garnett, way outside, ball 3. So decision time now, 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3 walks in the inning and 1 strikeout. This is a 7-inning game, so you can't afford to fall behind early. The pitch, and that's outside, ball 4. So Garnett walks in Cole Hauser for the first run of the game. Everybody moves up. Shea to second, Brait to third. 1 in, and here's Cavi Castor, the center fielder.
Castor has been on fire since the All-Star break. Came in hitting around 250, but now here he is coming into play today with a 291 mark.
First pitch to him is way outside, and Waugh has to go far out of the catcher's box to make that play. 1 ball, no strikes.
And Castor, just bears repeating, holds about every record in the book when it comes to Salisbury Seagull history.
1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, and that's lined down the third baseline, but foul, bounces off the fence in front of the Cropdusters bullpen. A ball and a strike.
The ball's still laying out there. Someone will have to go get to it. Nobody went at first. Now 4 people racing over to it. And out there in the bullpen for Olney, that's going to be number 13, Dane Armson, picking it up.
Thank you, Dane. 1 ball, 1 strike. Garnett at the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's in there for a strike, 1-2, as DeAndre Anderson took his time to decide that one. But a ball and 2 strikes. Wouldn't a strikeout be big here?
It would be.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, that's again fouled over the Cropdusters dugout and out of play. So Garnett ahead of the batter. It's the first one he's been ahead of here in the top of the first inning. 1 run in, Cropdusters lead at 1-0, bases loaded and 1 out. Pitch, and that's high, 2-2. So it looks to me as if Garnett's trying to go outside and pick up that corner, but not make it enticing enough for guys like Castor to go after and swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, that's lined fair into right field down the right field foul line. Brait comes in to score. Following him is Ryan Shea. Holding at third is Baumhoeffer. And on at second with a stand-up double is Cavi Castor.
And there you go. Castor just kept his hands in on that pitch and drove it down the right field line. Blink of an eye, it's 3-0 Cropdusters.
So Will Baumhoeffer ends up at third base, Castor at second. 3 in here in the top of the first. Still only 1 out and runners in scoring position. The pitch, that's high, ball 1.
Or to the plate, a former Thunderbolt. Played with the team last year.
1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, a ground ball over the head of Travis Garnett out into center field. 2 runs will score as Baumhoeffer trots home and Castor makes it from second. Down to first on the single goes Jacob Orr. 5 runs in.
Well, and that will bring out Brock Hunter, so this will mean an end to Garnett's night. And, you know, again, it's just the command issues that got him in a hole. And then when he finally found the zone, the Cropdusters were hungry and didn't waste any time jumping all over those pitches for RBI and 2 swings to the bat.
So Garnett will leave after pitching 1/3 of an inning. Gets a little hand. He gave up 2 hits, a double and a single. Walked 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's responsible for the runner on first. So Thunderbolts take a gamble, and it doesn't pay off, or at least it doesn't pay off yet, as they are down 5-0 in the first inning in a 7-inning game. That is not a good sign.
Well, it's definitely making things tough here as Bryce Smith coming on to pitch now for the Thunderbolts. And coming into the season, you just don't know what you're going to get with a pitcher coming off of Tommy John surgery. Some are able to pick up the baseball and not lose a step, but Garnett has struggled to find the zone here in the Ripken League. So hopefully he could sort things out before he returns to Maryland. But Smith trying to clean up the damage. 5 runs already crossing in the inning.
So let's take a look at Bryce Smith's numbers. Smith has been in 5 games, pitched 9 innings, given up 16 hits, 10 runs. They're all earned. Walked 9, struck out 5. He's 0-2 on the season, and he has an ERA of 10.
So, sorry to interrupt, Neil, but it looks like at second base, that is Ryan Quadros out there, not Rayo Fabre. So, a last-second lineup switch by Brock Hunter has put Ryan Quadros at second base in place of Fabre. So, Marymount gives way to the College of Charleston.
Good catch, because that's what the lineup said.
Yes.
Quadros, one of those players who plays both the field and pitches.
So now the lineup that we announced is up in the air. We'll see if it's a straight up switch in the lineup or if Quadros will move up or down accordingly.
So Bryce Smith, the left-hander, takes over from Garnett. Runner at first, just the 1 out, and here's Jake Milan, whose uncle is a regular listener to us. He's up in New Jersey.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's tuned in tonight. Smith checks. The first pitch is in there, strike 1.
I remember he sent us a pretty nice message a couple of nights ago when Cropdusters played the T-Bolts. So always nice to have the opposing fans listening in as well.
0-1 to Milan. Smith's next pitch is fouled back, strike 2. So 5-0 in favor of the Cropdusters here in the top of the first inning. 0-2 to Jake Milan. That's outside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, if the Cropdusters could change pitchers, I guess there's no reason why the Thunderbolts can't change infielders. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Throw over to first, and Jacob Orr is back. One ball, 2 strikes. The pitch, that's inside, ball 2. Even count to Milan. Tyler Wright, the right fielder, on deck. 2-2. And that's lined in the left center field, and that is going to go all the way to the fence. Hustling around second and third, and coming in to score will be Jacob Orr. Holding at second is Jake Milan with a double.
Another great piece of hitting there. Milan just roped that one out to the wall on a couple of hops. Nothing the T-Bolts could do, and he finds himself in scoring position right now after plating Orr.
So the Cropdusters piling it on the way they did in that Mercy game. And right now the Thunderbolts have no answers for this lineup.
They did not lose a step.
Still just one out, runner at second, 6 runs in. And Tyler Wright, the right fielder, is at the plate and takes a ball outside.
So we can officially close Travis Garnett's line. Third of an inning, 2 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 4 walks, 1 strikeout.
Smith checks the runner at second and delivers to Wright. And that's swung on and missed. 1-1. Well, you hate to see that happen to Garnett like that.
That's for sure. Especially when he's pitching for your team, but even on another team. Hate to see a guy coming off of possible career-altering surgery and then seemingly lose your control once you pick up the baseball again.
1 ball, 1 strike to Wright with a runner at second and 1 down. Here's the pitch. And that's outside, ball 2, so 2-1. This inning is beginning to take a long time.
Yes.
It's already at 22 minutes, and this is just the top of the first. But it is a 7-inning game. That's fouled at the plate. Count evens 2-2. Takoma Park TV is broadcasting tonight's game. Actually, recording it would be a better way to put it. We welcome them. They did a great job with the game against Gaithersburg back on July 8th. Here's the pitch, and that's outside. Full count.
And that game is also posted on their YouTube right now. So after you finish watching this one, go ahead and check that one out. Great ending to that ball game.
That was a very exciting game. You and Jacob on the call. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Tyler Wright, the right fielder. Runner on second, 6 in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball to the second baseman, Quadros. He bobbles it. The throw to first is not in time. Or was it in time?
It was in time, but they said he was pulled off the bag at first base. Not sure about that one. Sure looked like Putnam's foot was on first base.
He had to stretch to his right to get it. So things continue to get worse for the T-Bolts.
Now the Cropdusters send their 10th man to the plate, officially bow around.
We'll see how that's scored. And here's Cole Hauser again. He led it off with a walk, came around the score. A throw over to first. Wright is back.
So a score update from the other game in action right now in South County. The Aces leading the Braves 1-0 early on in that one.
There's a pop-up along the first base side, but it's out of play. Hits on the roof of the Thunderbolt dugout.
Smith just trying to get out of this inning here. You know, you inherit a big deficit, but if you can just try to mop this up and go a couple of innings, keep the T-Bolts in this one, that would be all Brock Hunter could ask for.
Runners at the corners. Still just 1 out. There's a ground ball to the pitcher for 1, and the shortstop, Gatrone, can't handle the play. So in the score comes Milan. Down to second goes Wright. And on at first is Hauser. Let's see if we can get the scoring.
I imagine that would be an E6 on the drop catch over there at shortstop.
Tyler Wright is an error to the
Yes.
second baseman, and this one would be an error to the shortstop. So trying to make the great play instead of the safe play. Now 7 runs in. Still just 1 out. Runners at first and second. And there's a strike to Wright.
So I think this one is going to be scored for Hauser. He reaches on a fielder's choice, and Wright advances on the E6. You can't assume the double play.
There's a ground ball that's going to go through for a base hit. Coming around third to score will be Tyler Wright. The throw comes in. And once again, Hauser down the second. Wright on the first with a single. Or make that Mershon on the first with a single. No, it's Wright.
Yes. Marchand at the plate now, and now it's just a case of Olney is feeling it at the plate, and they don't want this inning to end. Still only 1 out, and they've already played it several runs, and they don't look like they're going to stop anytime soon.
No, if they can keep going, my goodness. Runners at first and second, still 1 out. The pitch from Smith is down low, ball 1.
Mershon was the only batter retired in the inning, struck out looking. A great pitch from Garnett, but here he is at the plate again, a chance to redeem himself.
Smith delivers, and that's outside ball 2.
So going back, it officially is Hauser reaching on the fielder's choice and then Wright advancing on the E6.
Here's the pitch, and that's foul down the third baseline. Count goes to 2-1. Well, this certainly is not what I expected today.
Cropdusters, and we mentioned that 16-2 win the last time these two teams met, and they picked up right where they left off.
4 hits. There's a ball.
Later on in this ball game, for those of you tuning in on Takoma Park City TV, we have reports down on the field from our own Jacob Goldberg. Someone coming up soon.
He'll be at Syracuse by the time
Oh,
we get to the end of the inning. 3 balls and a strike. That's fouled away. 3-2. Crowd here trying to find something to cheer about. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled at the plate. So unless the Thunderbolts have lots of runs stored up in their bats, they're not going to have to worry about what DC does in their evening game.
No, I will say it, here on Takoma Park City
That's right,
TV
you can
tonight,
say it.
the Thunderbolts have worked some magic.
And no lead is safe in the Ripken League. Full count pitch from Bryce Smith, curve way outside, ball 4.
And while it might look unlikely to come back in this one, the Cropdusters did just play a doubleheader yesterday, so they might have some taxed arms in that bullpen. We haven't even seen their starting pitcher, Siles, tonight. He's still down in the bullpen trying to keep his arm loose.
It is a 7-inning game. So here's Ryan Shea, who walked and scored. Pitch, and that's flied out into left field. Casey Gibbs lines it up. He makes the play, and coming in to score will be Cole Hauser. Break goes down to second as Shea flies out.
Sacrifice fly, a good piece of hitting from Shea. Didn't have to do too much, just get the ball in the air. You're already up by 8 runs. One more run certainly helps, but don't have to get that extra base hit.
So here's Will Baumhoeffer, the designated hitter. He looks at a strike.
Should note that every run from here on out will be unearned to Bryce Smith if the Cropdusters are able to scratch across more.
0-1 to Baumhoeffer, 2 on. There is the breather now that the Thunderbolts have 2 outs. There's another strike, 0-2. Brutal top of the first inning for the home team. No balls, 2 strikes. Swung on and missed strike 3. The Thunderbolts finally get out of the inning after 32 minutes by the Cropdusters, who scored 9 runs. They had 4 hits. The Thunderbolts committed 2 errors, and there were 2 runners left on base. So at the end of a half an inning of play, the score is the Olney Cropdusters 9 and the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts coming to bat. You're listening to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network. So the Thunderbolts get set to come up here in the bottom of the first inning, and Bobby Leitzel takes ball 1. What is?
Yeah,
I guess they made some changes.
they
here.
must have radically changed the lineup as
So your guess is going to
yes.
be as good as mine.
Well, good news is Bekurovsky is on deck. He was batting second to start things off.
Reports to do it on that camera or that?
So there's the strike, 1-1. So bear with us as we figure all this out. But Leitzel will be leading off. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a fly ball into left field. Back goes Jake Milan, and he makes the play.
So on the mound tonight for the Cropdusters, it's Brett Siles, sophomore from Towson University, from Brookville, Maryland, making his 4th start of the year, 6th game of the season. 17 1/3, 0-2 record, 5.19 ERA.
The DH, Bekurovsky, takes a strike on a nice curveball from Siles. Next pitch is curved, doesn't quite make the corner there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Siles
looks like a fast ball.
yes, I was just about to say.
There's a ground ball towards Brait. Big hop. Brait throws over to Ryan Shea, and Bekurovsky's retired.
Do you want me to do my?
So got Jack Catrone coming up. That is, as it was listed, and Nathan Wall on deck. So we don't know the official changes yet, but 2 through 4 at least is as we written it down.
So here's Jack Catrone, who's really come along in the last couple of weeks of the season. Thunderbolt shortstop. Pitch is outside, ball 1.
And Catrone, one of the best personalities on this team, definitely a dugout favorite.
There's a strike on the outside corner. Count 1 ball, 1 strike to Catrone. He's had some big hits for a guy hitting .222 in the season. Come at good times. There's a foul down the right field line and out of play, a ball and 2 strikes.
And you said really heated up. 9 RBI on the season, and I think at least 7 of those 9 have come over the last 2 weeks.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Jack calls for time. The pitch from Siles, a ground ball again to Brait. He scoops it up. The throw over to Shea is in time, and the Thunderbolts go quietly in the bottom of the first. For the T-Bolts, no runs, no hits, no errors by the Cropdusters, nobody left on base. And now, for those of you on Takoma Park Television, Jacob Goldberg is going to be talking and giving you some insight into tonight's game. We are going to take a commercial break.
Thanks, guys. Olney's been one of the best hitting teams in the league all season. Coming into tonight, they were 3rd in the league in home runs and 2nd in batting average behind, of course, the Alexandria Aces. And they did it again here in the first inning. They scored 9 runs, only 4 hits, but they continue to draw walks and make the pitchers pay. You know, the pitcher tonight for the T-Bolts, Travis Garnett, funny enough, I don't think many people know this, he was actually supposed to be a Cropduster at the beginning of the season. And coming off of Tommy John surgery this season, he's had some struggles. They've continued today, but it's all about how you finish the season. And the T-Bolts, with the DC Grays losing against Bethesda Big Train, they're still alive, but needing to find a way late in this game to come back from a 9-0 deficit. Back to you guys.
So welcome back to Blair Stadium for the top of the second inning. The Bolts trail this one 9-0. We're getting lots of messages repeating my mantra that I've been chanting throughout the season, that no lead is safe in the Ripken League.
Yeah, it's very true.
We've seen it lots of times. Here's Kevy Castor, the center fielder. He doubled in the bottom of the first inning. First pitch from Bryce Smith hits him right on the back. So down to first will go Cavi Coster. And now this sort of encapsulates the Thunderbolts' whole season, doesn't it? Walks,
Yes.
errors, hit batters, timely hitting by the other team.
And T-Bolts struggling to get it themselves as well.
So here's Jacob Orr for his second time. Jacob singled in the first inning, takes ball one. T-Bolts play tomorrow. It's looking like that game will just be a good old-fashioned summer baseball game with little at stake. 1 ball, no strikes. That's outside. Ball 2.
Barring a massive T-Bolts comeback, of course.
Well, like we said, no lead is safe in the Ripken League, but that was like 6 or 7 runs. This is 9. Next pitch is popped out of play, but hope springs eternal here at Blair Baseball Stadium. Jake Milan, the right fielder, is on deck, or rather the left fielder is on deck. There's a ground ball towards Catrone. Big hop. He'll flip it over to Quadros for the force. And reaching on the fielder's choice will be Jacob Orr.
Smart play by Quadros over there at second. Momentum was taking him away from first base, so a throw might have gotten away from him and allowed the base runner Orr to advance a couple extra bases. Hold on to it and live to fight another day.
Indeed. Here's Tyler Wright, who was safe on an error in the first inning. Smith's first pitch is lined over the head of Leitzel and down the left field line. That's going to be cut off by Gibbs. Pulling into third is Castor, and going on to second, rather pulling into third is Orr, going on to second is Jake Milan with his second consecutive extra base hit.
Well, Cropdusters are just seeing the ball today. They scored 16 runs the last time these two teams met, and they scored a high number the previous matchup as well, and they're looking to put up another double-digit scoreline tonight.
So here's Tyler Wright. Wright, the left-hander, against the left-hand pitching Smith. Swung on and fouled away, strike 1. Nobody in the T-Bolts bullpen as of yet. And I guess they're just going to want to get through this. No balls, 1 strike. Scoreboard showing 2. It is 1. That's a ball. So count evens a ball and a strike. Pitch, a ground ball in the infield. That's going to be taken by the pitcher, Bryce Smith. He will tag the runner going down to first, and as he does, Jacob Orr comes in to score, and moving on to third is Milan.
Well, there was a mix-up at first base between Putnam and Smith. Both of them were chasing the ball and nobody covering the bag, and that caused Smith to have to race to first base to tag the base runner Wright, and that allowed Jacob Orr to score.
So another run in. Now we're in double digits. Here's Cole Hauser. Hauser ground ball to Catrone, who slips. The throw over is high and pulls Putnam off the bag, with Milan scoring from third.
That's going to be a base hit. Tough play for Catrone there at short as he slid down to the ground to make the stop and then had to throw across his body. Throw took him up the line, so it's an RBI single for Hauser.
The pitch from Smith is inside, ball 1. To Andrew Brait. Andrew, the second batter in the first inning, walked and scored. Andrew is the shortstop tonight. Runner on first, nobody out, or rather 1 out. Ground ball towards the third baseman, Leitzel. He scoops it up. The throw to first. Got him. And that will retire the side. But in the inning, the Cropdusters come up with 2 runs. There was 1 hit. There was 1 Thunderbolt error. And it looked like 1 runner left on?
I have 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base.
Okay, they called that
yes.
one. All right. So after 2 innings of play, the score should be the Cropdusters 11 and the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts nothing. You're listening to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network. Welcome back to Blair Baseball Stadium for the bottom of the 2nd inning. It'll be Nathan Waugh, Calvin Brown, and Garrett Jr. for the T-Bolts. And what is your approach when you're trailing 11-0 in the bottom of the 2nd of a 7-inning game to get back in it? What are you telling yourself? Strike 1.
Be aggressive. The game's already come at you quick, and you're down double digits. You can't wait for your pitch. You have to work with what you're getting.
There's a pop-up in the infield that's chasing the second baseman, Jacob Orr, back into shallow right field, and he makes the play. 1 up, 1 down. Calvin Brown comes up, the right fielder. So far we're on track. First pitch from Sales is low ball 1.
Brown has been finding his swing at the plate, a couple of multi-hit games. Nice streak coming together here, the last few.
Also a great guy. He was on
Yes.
the air with us the other night. That's inside ball 2. Also took a turn at the PA mic.
Doing a little bit, and having fun down there now after that inside pitch.
2 balls, no strikes. There's a strike on the inside corner, 2-1. I guess if you're Brett Sales, just throw strikes.
Yes.
2 balls, 1 strike. That's on the outside corner. Nice pitch, 2-2.
That has to be the approach. If you dance around hitters, that's how you see the 11-0 lead evaporate.
2-2. He swings and misses. Strike 3. He calls it, but it looked as though Calvin went around on that. 2 down. Here's Garrett Jr. Here's Garrett, takes the ball outside. We'll have some player changes in a minute. Gary swings, misses strike 1. There's a ground ball towards the second baseman, or he throws over to Shea for the out. And the Thunderbolts go quietly in the bottom of the 2nd. No runs, no hits, no errors by the Cropdusters, nobody left on base. At the end of 2, the score is 11-0. And Ian, there have been a few lineup changes.
Yes, there has been. So it's affecting the bottom of the lineup largely. We already saw Bobby Leitzel moving from up in the lineup up to the leadoff spot, still playing third base. And then at the bottom of the lineup, Ryan Quadros is batting 8th, playing 2nd, and Andrew Shave slides into left field and batting 9th.
So Casey Gibbs is out of the game. Maybe we can check the scoreboard and see what's going on.
Sure. So looking at the other game in action right now, in Lorton, Virginia, the South County Braves and Alexandria Aces. Well, I checked a second ago. Alexandria was up 6-0, but now it's back to 2. So I'm not sure if they had to reload something there or what's the deal with that. But either way, Alexandria does have a lead in that ball game, and it looks like the DC Grays and Gaithersburg Giants are getting ready to get underway. It's listed as pregame, so the lineups have been announced, but they're yet to get underway.
So Smith begins his next inning of work.
Now batting the third baseman, number 12, Joseph Mershon.
So here's Joseph Mershon, the third baseman. He has struck out and walked. This actually is number 12. Looks like they made a switch here. We'll pick it up in a minute.
He's wearing number 12 here on the road with that jersey, so it is Joseph Mershon.
All right, he wears 31 at home?
Yes.
Okay. 0-1. And that's a ball and a strike. Lots of fun in the Ripken League when you try to figure out who's where. The pitch from Smith, and that's fouled back. So a ball and 2 strikes to Joseph Mershon. Well, we've had a few guys like that who have worn, because of size issues, have worn different jerseys. A ball and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed strike 3, so Smith picks up a strikeout.
Now batting the first baseman, number 25,
And here comes Ryan Shea, the first baseman. Ryan walked and drove in a run with the sacrifice fly in the second. Smith on the mound. Here's the pitch. And there's a ground ball right to Leitzel. He's up with it. The throw over to first to Putnam is in time. 2 up, 2 down.
This is what Smith and T-Bolts are looking for. Just quick innings, throwing strikes, not getting yourself into holes that make this 11-0 deficit seem even larger.
Baumhoeffer has walked, scored, and struck out. Ground ball that hops over the glove of Ryan Quadros and into right center field for a base hit. It looked as though Quadros was going to get that until the ball hit something in the infield and just skipped over his glove.
Well, when the ball leaves the infield grass here at Blair, it almost serves as a launching pad, and that one was seen right there. Hopped up and over Quadros' glove.
T-Bolts just can't catch a break tonight. Here's Will Baumhoeffer. He has walked and struck out and singled. Rather, this is Cabby Castor. Castor, the center fielder, has doubled. Was hit by a pitch. There's a ground ball to the first baseman, Putnam, who will make the play unassisted. And for the first time tonight, the Cropdusters are retired without scoring a run. There was no runs. There was 1 hit, no Thunderbolt errors, 1 runner left on. At the end of 2.5 innings of play, the score is the Olney Cropdusters 3, or rather the Olney Cropdusters 9, and the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts nothing. You're listening to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network. So I inadvertently said the score was 9-0. It's 11-0. Not that that makes a whole lot of difference the way this game is going. It'll be Putnam, Quadros, and Andrew Shabe, who was installed in left field and put in the 9th spot. So it's Putnam, Quadros, and Shabe here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch to Eli is inside, ball 1.
Still early yet, but T-Bolt's yet to have a base runner through 2 innings.
There's a line drive into center field, but right at Coster, who makes the play. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring up Ryan Quadros, the second baseman.
Quadros looking for his first hit of the season.
Swung on and missed strike 1. There's a fly ball down the right field line, and coming on is the right fielder Wright, but it goes foul.
some groans there from the fans and from the T-Bolts dugout. They were both hoping that would fall in for Quadros' first hit of the year, one that could go for extra bases, but has to pick the back up.
Again, Quadros, one of those guys who's a two-way player, mostly used as a pitcher. He has 14 at-bats and no hits. 0-2 to Quadros with 1 out. Quadros takes it for a strike 3 call. So his streak continues. And here's Andrew Shabe, the left fielder.
Yeah, Shabe.
First pitch to Shabe is in there for strike 1. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, everyone throwing for a loop here. We had a lineup, thought it was official, and then have everything change up on us.
There's another strike.
Shave's a freshman from George Mason University.
Shabe hitting .214 with an 0-2 count as Sales is just sailing along. There's a ground ball that's through the hole for a base hit. So Shabe picks up the Thunderbolts' first hit, gives the fans something to cheer about. Looks like he backed away and hit it off the end of his bat, and it found the hole. And on first is Shabe. That'll bring up Bobby Leitzel, the third baseman.
Oh.
Leitzel, who was originally batting ninth, moved up to first. Throw over. Shabe is back in.
Shabe has been a very good hitter, just hadn't gotten chances to hit all year long, and George Mason product gets away on base.
Leitzel lines it into left field, and that's a base hit. Milan's going to get it. Taking a wide turn to Shabe, the ball gets away from Milan. Down to third will go Shabe, and on to second will go Bobby Leitzel.
Clean single for Leitzel, and then the ball out in left field, roll up the arm of Jake Milan. So now the T-Bolts have 2 in scoring position, and now this is the spot all year long that the T-Bolts have struggled. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. They need to come through here, trailing by a large number.
Here's Beck Urofsky, the DH, who grounded out in the first inning. Urofsky takes it outside, ball 1. So far, that's just being called a single. Ball 2. With Shabe advancing to third base. There's a fly ball into shallow right field. It's going to drop, and 2 runners are going to come in as the throw goes way up the line, and going to second on the play is Beck Urofsky.
Well, that's what you have to do. Just be aggressive, and the T-Bolts are doing that. Swinging first pitch was Urofsky, went the other way, bloop base hit, and then the wild throw will allow Urofsky to advance to second after he plates 2 runs.
So Shabe gets to third on an error by the left fielder. And here's Jack Catrone with a runner on second. Catrone takes it outside, and the ball squirts away from Hauser.
Well, T-Bolts, not the only team trailing by a large number. The South County Braves now trail the Alexandria Aces 11-0.
Well, must be what's going around in the league tonight. Here's the pitch to Catrone, and that's fouled at the plate. 1-1. So 3 hits in the inning for the Thunderbolts. They come back with 2. A ball and a strike to Jack Catrone, the shortstop, with a runner on second in Beck Urofsky, and 2 down. The pitch from Sales swung on and missed, strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second, 2 down, 2 in for the Bolts. The pitch, and that's outside. Catrone watches it go out. So Bekurovsky at second base. Two balls, two strikes. The pitch, that's outside. Full count. Thunderbolts fans making some noise here.
Well, they know what's at stake here. T-Bolts need a win to keep their season alive. And trailing by a large number, they're putting up a fight.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Catrone. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled out of play. Count remains 3-2. Nice little 2-out rally by the T-Bolts. The pitch, and that's fouled down the first base line past Max Eckert, the first base coach.
Great long at-bat here for Bobby Light, or rather for Jack Catrone. Just trying to keep everything going in the inning.
Full count again to Catrone with a runner on second and 2 out. Here's the pitch, and again that's fouled, this time down the third base line.
So how many is that in a row? 4
hit by
foul
pitch,
balls
3 errors,
consecutively
and
here,
5 walks.
putting up a great fight.
He is.
Play right towards, Cropdusters fielders and the in their way.
Catrone steps out of the batter's box.
Keep their playoff hopes alive.
And that's foul back again.
He's not going down easy, that's for sure.
No, he's making Siles work.
Then sets.
Which it's been smooth sailing for him. And this is the kind of at-bat that can rattle you as a pitcher.
We'll do it again. 3-2. Here's the pitch. And that's popped into center field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit.
Why are you holding him?
And being held at third is Bekurovsky. The ball gets away on the throw-in from the pitcher's sails, but not far enough for Yurovsky to make a credible run. So on at first is Jack Catrone with a great at-bat. And now here's the catcher, Nathan Waugh, who popped up to Jacob Orr in the second inning. So runners at the corners, still with 2 out and Waugh up. 2 in for the Thunderbolts. Chance for another. And that's a ball, 1-0.
Waugh popped out his first time up, but 5 home runs on the season. Certainly has the power to get the T-Bolts back in this one.
1 ball, no strikes. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. So T-Bolt's making a little noise here. The pitch to Waugh. That's in for a strike, a ball, and 2 strikes. So Brett Sales trying to get out of this one, although with a 9-run lead. Throw over to first, that was close. But back in is Catrone. We went through this last night. Catrone took very large leads. But who knows, if Sales throws it away, it means a run. That's fouled at the plate. Count remains 1-2.
That could be the approach of Catrone over there. Just entice the throw. Chance to get a free run, but of course, if you sacrifice yourself, then the inning's over.
I haven't seen a lot of wild throws to first in the league this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and that's lined into center field for a base hit. Yurovsky will score. Stopping at second is Catrone, and the Thunderbolts keep the line going.
At bat for Waugh. Now batting the right fielder,
Well,
number 5.
T-Bolts trying to put up a fight. They're back within 8 runs here after trailing by 11 at the start of the inning, and that will bring out a mound visit here for the Cropdusters.
I think he's just telling him to slow down. There's no action in the Cropduster bullpen, as you wouldn't expect with the lead they have.
Playing again.
But that's 5 straight hits. but because the Cropdusters don't walk a lot of people, and in fact tonight they have not walked anybody, those 5 hits have produced 3 runs. Whereas for the Cropdusters, because of the walks, the Cropdusters now have 6 hits, but earlier they had, what, 3 or 4 and produced those 9 runs. That's been the problem with the T-Bolts this year. That's one of the things they've had to struggle with. Here's Calvin Brown, the right fielder. He struck out swinging in the second.
T-Bolts allow.
Waugh at first, Catrone at second. First pitch is low ball 1.
Yeah, to your point, 5 walks allowed by the T-Bolts pitching staff. Only hasn't allowed 1 yet.
Pitch. That's high and outside, ball 2.
Harder for the T-Bolts, but they can't limit that
So
self-harm.
free base runners have costed the T-Bolts.
As they usually
Yes.
do. It's not just the T-Bolts. You put those runners on, chances are they're going to come in. 2 balls, no strikes to Brown. Sales checks the runners and delivers, and that's right down University Boulevard, strike 1. Five straight singles for the T-Bolts. 3 runs in here in the bottom of the third. The pitch. And there's a ground ball into left field. That's going to go for a base hit. And being sent home is Catrone, but now he'll go back to third as the throw gets in. And now the T-Bolts have the bases loaded as Catrone was tearing around third. Driscoll held him. Waugh is on at second. And Calvin Brown goes to first with the Thunderbolts' 6th straight hit. And here comes Garrett Jr.
Well, Garrett trying to come through in a huge spot. Will choke up on that bat, trying to do so.
Bases loaded, 2 down, way outside ball 1. And we should point out, Garrett has a great batting eye.
That he does. The start of the year, it was seemingly 2 walks every night for Garrett. Slowed down in that category, but still great eye.
A ball and no strikes. That's outside for ball 2.
Message,
2-0.
Message from us saying it ain't over till it's over, and
That's awfully true.
been true for so many years.
2 balls, no strikes. Sales comes in. That catches the corner for a strike. 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike to Garrett with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Thunderbolts could use a walk or another hit. And there's a ground ball, and that's going to be taken by the shortstop, who flips it over to the second baseman or for the out. And the Thunderbolts are finally retired. But in the inning for the T-Bolts almost bat around. They get 3 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors committed by the only Cropdusters, 3 runners left on.
Thunderbolts scored 3 on
And
6
at the end of
hits,
3
2
full,
errors, 3
the
left.
score is the only
of 3,
Cropdusters 11
Cropdusters
and
11,
the Silver Spring
Thunderbolts
Tacoma
3.
Thunderbolts 3. For those of you watching Tacoma Park TV, we're going to cut now to Jacob Goldberg, and you will hear Jacob. I'm going to take a break, and we'll have a special surprise guest coming on in the top of the 4th inning. This is T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network.
Well, the T-Bolts in that last half inning were able to make it a contest, now down 11-3. Going into the 4th inning, there is still plenty of time, as we say here. At Montgomery-Blair Stadium, the Caribbean League leads are never safe, but the storylines for the T-Bolts all season long remain the same. T-Bolts pitchers tonight have allowed 5 walks, 3 errors, and 1 hit by pitch. This self-harm has just plagued the T-Bolts all season long, and their biggest competitor has constantly been themselves. With, plenty of innings and time left to go, the game is still open for the T-Bolts, but it gets immensely harder if they keep making these little errors. Guys, back to you.
Fans, kids' races around the bases will be beginning soon. Please report to the third base dugout if your name is called. First base dugout. Thank you. Age 7, Cormac Keogh. Silver Spring. Age 8, Shea Valentine. Silver Spring. Age
And
8,
welcome back here on Tacoma Park City TV and the T-Bolts Radio Network. And joining us now over to my left is an up-and-coming broadcaster. He'll be attending Elon University in the fall, but right now he's here with the T-Bolts and might be hearing more from him next year. Here's Nick Reinhold.
Thank you, Ian. It's good to be here.
So, Nick, you're attending Elon University. It's a in-conference rival of my Hofstra pride, so of course our teams will be seeing a lot of each other in the upcoming school year, and you're thinking about joining the T-Bolts broadcast team next year.
Yeah, I can't wait. Certainly exciting growing up with the T-Bolts. It's been a fun 12 years, I think, I've been following this team, and can't wait to work for them next year, hopefully.
So it's been an up-and-down ride over those 12 years as the Cropdusters coming to the plate with an 11-3 lead. And you say you're interested in play-by-play. Why don't you take us through this half inning?
Oh, thank you. So the former T-Bolt, Jacob Orr, steps in. And the first pitch from the lefty. Orr lifts a fly ball down the third base line. Out into foul territory. Third baseman, shortstop converging, and it is out of play.
Lights all over there, quickly running out of room. There was a shrubbery over there down the third base line. Battling that along with the setting sun, just couldn't make the play.
Jacob Orr of hometown Frederick, Maryland, formerly a Maryland Terrapin this past college baseball season.
Remember seeing him out on the field prior to the regional games, played at Maryland this year. Great season for the Terps.
Smith looks in on the 0-1. They kick in here the pitch. Outside and away, it's ball 2.
Orr has driven in 2 runs tonight. 1 for 2 showing with a single and a fielder's choice. He's also scored twice.
Smith the lefty on the 1-1. It's outside again, and it's ball 2. Or on the season, a solid .258 average for the newly minted Cropdusters. Smith the 2-1, and that is low, ball 3. Smith looks in for the sign. The kick in the 3-1. Or with a drive into right field, back it goes, and it is off the bottom of the wall, or on his way to second. Getting the ball in is the T-Bolts left fielder, and Orr has got himself a leadoff double.
Great drive from Orr. Almost got out of here, but off the wall, the leaping effort of Shabe in left, not enough. So Cropdusters have a runner in scoring position, nobody out.
Next stepping in is the Springbrook, PA native, Jake Millen. Smith, the lefty, checks the Orr at second. The kick in the first pitch. It's low, ball 1 in the dirt.
So Nick, of course, we're friends from a while back. We both attended the Baltimore Sports Play-by-Play Broadcasting Camp. Great experience for anyone interested in a career in sports broadcasting.
Smith, the kick in the 1-0. And that catches the corner, strike 1.
Actually, Jacob Goldberg, also a play-by-play broadcasting camps graduate, but he went to the Jersey camp. Camps all over the nation.
The kick in the 1-1 from Smith. It's low and inside, and that is ball 2. Play-by-play definitely spots all over the nation.
Yes.
Reaching out to young broadcasters.
That's how I learned I wanted to do this after, realizing maybe my future wasn't on the baseball field.
We all realize that at some point in our lives. The kick in the 2-1. Misses high, ball 3.
Unfortunately for me, I think it came later than it probably should have.
Well, to quote Moneyball, we're all told that we can't play the children's game after a while.
Yes.
Smith looks in for the sign and gets set. The kick in the 3-1. And that is lined down the third base line and out of play. Watch out in that bullpen over there for the Cropdusters.
Yeah, fortunately, they don't have anyone warming up. And if they did, the catcher might have had to duck down.
At least the bullpen is not in the field of play like
That's
it is
true.
in some old MLB stadiums. Smith checks the runner at second. And the kick in the pitch. Outside ball 4, and Milan has drawn a leadoff walk. So runners on first and second with nobody out. Cropdusters looking to get that offense alive again after a no-run last inning.
You mentioned the bullpens in the field of play. Alexandria also has their bullpens in the field at Frank Mann Field.
That's where the protection comes in handy.
Yes.
So not stepping in is Tyler Wright, the Exton, Pennsylvania native. Batting .250 on the year. A lefty-lefty matchup. Smith checks the runner at second. Checks again. The kick and the leadoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike one.
Wright is 0 for 2 on the night, reached on an error and grounded out on an unassisted play by Bryce Smith, but has scored a run.
As have most of the Cropdusters to this point.
Yeah, only one batter has not scored tonight for the Cropdusters.
Smith the kick and the pitch outside, and they're going to say he went. Strike two and an 0-2 count on a check swing strike. Smith checks the sign. Does not give Orr a look and goes to the plate. And that's going to miss low and away. Ball one.
Looking at it on the year, Orr has not stolen a base, so maybe not giving him any kind of thought of going.
Pretty mediocre lead for Orr anyway. The kick and the 1-2. Pitch low. Ball two.
Good block by Wall behind the plate.
Blocking those in the dirt fastballs is a real tough job for the catcher back there for the T-Bolts. Smith checks the sign, like mentioned earlier, not giving Orr a look at second. Now he does. The kick and the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. The Cropduster batter now down on strikes, and there is one out.
Great off-speed delivery from Bryce Smith. Got him out in front, and Wright goes down swinging. Lineup card turns over for Cole Hauser.
Cole Hauser scored 2 runs today. And this is his third AB of the game. He's been a solid leadoff hitter for the Cropdusters this year with a .368 average. Smith gives Orr a look and comes to the plate. And that's a pop-up into short center field. In comes the T-Bolts center fielder, and he makes the catch. Orr goes halfway and then comes back to second, and there is 2 away.
Well, those plays are routine for Garrett Jr. Been simple for him all season long out there, and just keeps up what he's been doing all year long.
Andrew Brate now steps in, another solid number 2 option for the Cropdusters, batting .304 on the season.
1 for 2 tonight, a single, a walk, and a ground out.
Smith checks second. The kick in the first pitch is lined into short right field. Coming in is the right fielder, and he can't make the play, or sent around third. The throw to the plate is up the line, and the Cropdusters add another. It is now 12-3.
Another good piece of hitting there. It's been a class act all night long from the Cropdusters, just taking the pitches where they're thrown. That one just blooped out in a shallow right field, and that allowed the base runner Orr to score.
Joseph Mershon steps in. Smith checks the runner second, heads to the plate, and fastball misses low. Ball one.
So Mershon, only one of the only batters to not score, and only one of 2 to not have an RBI.
He has struck out twice. Pitch is fastball low. Ball two. Smith has been able to eat innings for the T-Bolts so far after falling behind early in this first inning. Smith comes set. The kick and the 2-0. Is grounded on the ground. That's going to get through the shortstop third base hole. Held at third is the runner.
way to get there from Shea, charged it hard, so that prevented a Milan from scoring. But Olney will have the bases loaded, still with 2 outs.
And Brock Hunter out to the mound for a quick mound visit. It appears will he be going to a new arm?
I didn't see anyone warming up out there in the bullpen, so this will just be a talking to. Maybe get someone warming up out there
Seems like
after the visit.
Dean Wandell, the sophomore from Frostburg State, is starting to get loose in the T-Bulls bullpen. Brock maybe trying to buy some time for the left-hander.
Good eye out there is, from my view, I can't exactly see, but Wandell is getting loose. And he's also accompanied by number 23 for the Thunderbolts, Gabe Delgado.
Ryan Shea stands in now for the Cropdusters. He's got an RBI and a walk today, and he's also scored a run. Local Upper Marlboro native. Smith with the bases loaded. And a curveball is in there, strike 1.
Shea all year long has been consistently productive against the Thunderbolts, a pair of home runs, including one here at Blair.
Smith with the kick and the pitch. And a swing and a miss, a big swing at the fastball low. And the count runs 0-2 as Smith looking to get out of a bases loaded jam. Smith checks the sign. He comes set. The kick in the 0-2. Looks like a slider or a changeup, missing low. Count runs 1-2. Smith comes set. Has the sign. The kick in the 1-2. And a curveball is mashed into left field. That's going to get down for a hit. Both runners for the Cropdusters are sent. They will both score. And the Cropdusters jump ahead by a score of 14-3. And runner still on first and second.
Well, just nothing the T-Bolts have thrown tonight have fooled these hitters. They've stayed in and have made solid contact all night long. 2 more runners will score. And, after that big inning in the bottom of the third, Cropdusters strike right back and erase the work that the T-Bolts put in.
Will Baumhoeffer steps in. The kick in the first pitch is in there, strike 1. Baumhoeffer with an RBI tonight on a walk and a hit, and he's also scored a run. However, he has been fooled once on a strikeout. Smith gets the sign. The kick and the 0-1 is on the ground to second. Throw over to first, and that is the inning for the T-Bolts.
So for the Cropdusters in the inning, they get 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors, 2 runners left on. Thank you, Nick. Did a great job on the play-by-play. Hopefully we'll hear more from you next season. In the meantime, we'll step aside here. The Cropdusters lead the T-Bolts 14-3. You're listening and watching to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network and Tacoma Park City TV.
So we're back, and our thanks to Nick Ronholm for that. He sounded great.
Yeah, he's very good. I remember him being great at play-by-play camps and hasn't missed a beat since a couple of years ago. Happy to reconnect with him.
Sure. Gets a jump on the next year. So here's Eli Putnam, which has plagued the T-Bolts all season long. They score 3, then they give it right back up in the next inning. 1 ball, no strikes.
It's just been a struggle to hold teams off the scoreboard when you need that shutdown inning.
1 ball, no strikes. And there's a curve in for a strike, 1-1. So Sells only at 56 pitches. Pitch. There's a ground ball towards Jacob Orr. He's up with it. He throws over to Shea for the out.
He's providing that length that the Cropdusters have been looking for. I mentioned they had the doubleheader last night. They have a game to play tomorrow as well. So save that bullpen not only for tomorrow's game, but for the playoffs, which they have clinched a spot and are looking ahead to.
Right. We'll take a look at the standings and what we expect to happen. There's a beautiful fastball, but it's outside ball 1 to Quadros. based on tonight's scores and trends. Football-like score here, 14-3. There's the strike, 1-1 to Quadros. Andrew Shabe on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ryan. That's low ball 2. And in that inning where the T-Bolts got their runs, again, just so frustrating, they had the bases loaded. There's a pop down the right field line, and that one is a foul ball.
It's a couple times tonight that Quadros has targeted that right field line and just hooked it foul. So maybe a different approach from him up there.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
But yeah, you mentioned the T-Bolts loaded the bases. Granted, that
How many times have we seen that?
Granted, that
Quite a
rally
few.
did come with 2 outs, so impressive to score 3 runs with 2 outs against you, but you were hoping to do so much more with the bases still loaded.
2-2 to Ryan Quadros. Swings and he misses, strike 3. So that's his second strikeout of the game, and that'll bring up the left fielder Andrew Shabe, who was backed against the fence in the top of the inning, trying to get something off of Jacob Orr. Almost made the play. First pitch to Shabe is inside ball 1.
And Shave, battling, playing a position that he's not familiar with, at least here at Blair Stadium, trying to find the wall.
1-0. There's a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. We will take a look at the out-of-town scores and how that impacts what's going on here and how it impacts the shuffling lineup of teams in the league. There's a ground ball, big hop to the shortstop, Wright. The throw over to Shea in plenty of time, and that will do it for the T-Bolts in the bottom of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no Cropduster errors, nobody left on base. At the end of the 4th, it is time for races round the bases where the T-Bolts didn't score in that inning, and I'll let you call the first one.
All right, so we have kid in the gray shirt going up against the kid in the green.
Number 7 and number 2.
Yes, number
that
7
makes it
and number
easy.
2, yes. Number 7 had a lead out of the gates, but he's toggling his hat up there, about to lose it, so he loses his lead. Number 2 takes a wide turn around second base after touching the bag first. That does work out in his favor. He carries a lead around third as the number 7 is carrying his hat, and number 2 will win race number 1. Neil,
All right,
you
so
get
here we
race
go.
2.
Now 2 guys with the same T-Bolts org shirt on. They look like campers. And there they go. And the kid on the first base line taking a little bit of a lead, but the kid along the third base line is catching up. He is moving quickly. He is moving like a tremendous machine, but he does not cross second in time as they make their way around the clubhouse turn, and down the stretch they come. I'm looking at the third base kid. Here he comes. He slaps hands. Here comes the first base kid. He slaps hands. Great race on the part of both of them. They slap hands. And that is our races round the bases, always fun. Kind of quiet crowd, though, because of the situation regarding the scores. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the league and see what we can come up with as far as standings and how the scores tonight impact them. You're the stats man, so I will gratefully defer to you.
Okay, so the game that's final tonight, the Bethesda Big Train beat the DC Grays 4-3. Bethesda's schedule is done. Their regular season is over. They've done what they can do. So they will finish the year, the regular season at least, with a record of, as the standings are reloading, 26-10. They will need Alexandria to lose both of their remaining games. They will need Alexandria to lose one of their remaining games to even have a hope of making the playoffs in that number 1 seed. However, Alexandria carrying a large 11-2 lead over South County in a game in progress, that game in the bottom of the 4th. If Alexandria wins out, they will clinch top seed in the Ripken League regular season. So then the other game in action right now, the DC Grays trail the Gaithersburg Giants.
Of course they do.
3-0.
Of course they would.
They're in the bottom of the third. So if the T-Bolts don't come back and lose out, DC will clinch the playoff spot, and we'll know the team's competing in the playoffs.
That's called backing into the position.
Yes. However, they still have things to play for. If they win out, they could challenge for a higher spot. And as we get set to go, I believe I will take over the play-by-play duties
You
from
will?
here on out. It'll be Kavi Castor, Jacob Orr, and Jake Milan.
To face Dean Wandell, who's coming in to pitch.
He will take things over for Bryce Smith. We'll finish out Smith's line in a minute.
Give Smith some credit. He did what he was out to do, what they wanted him to do. He 8 innings, gave up a couple of runs, but really does that matter?
First pitch is outside, ball 1. Smith goes 3 2/3, 8 hits, 8 runs, 4 of them earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. 1-0 is outside. So as things stand right now in the standings, the Gaithersburg Giants still hold 3rd place in the league by half a game over the Cropdusters and Braves. 2-0 is in at the belt, strike 1. DC Grays are 2 games back of that 3rd spot with 2 games left to play. So theoretically, they could still host the play-in game, as that one is grounded between third base and shortstop. Catrone slides to cut it off, but he'll have no play. So Coster reaches on a leadoff single.
So I think we're going to really have to wait until tomorrow to find out who goes where
Yes.
for all these games, except for the Thunderbolts, who will play their final game of the 2022 season tomorrow against the Grays. The Grays have a lot to play for.
That they do, especially if they hold on to win tonight. Actually make a comeback against Gaithersburg. First pitch into Jacob Orr is at the knee, strike 1. If they win out and the teams above them lose, they could get that 3rd spot, but they can't finish worse than 6. So that one is popped up here into center field. A long run for Garrett Jr., but he'll be called off by Ryan Quadros, who makes the play ranging back from second base.
Quadros with a nice catch. Now batting the left fielder, number 18.
So 14 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors by the Cropdusters, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors by the T-Bolts.
Not a good sign that you have as many errors as you do runs. As stepping in is Jake Milan. First pitch at the belt, strike 1.
So Dean Wandell has come on very strongly in the latter stages of the 2022 season.
Yep.
Struggled a little bit, but boy, he's come back pretty strongly.
Absolutely has, as the 0-1 is high, ball 1. Had a long layoff between outings, but since then has pitched phenomenally out of the bullpen. Started the season as one of the back-end rotation starters. That one is lined out into left field, a base hit. 3rd hit of the night for Jake Milan. First one that's just a single. So he keeps the inning going here for Tyler Wright.
Now batting the right fielder, number 3, Tyler Wright.
So the
2-0.
Cropdusters just really feast on
Yes.
Thunderbolts pitching. I mean, there's no nice way to say it.
No, it's a tip of the cap to them. They're not letting the T-Bolts find their groove. They've been aggressive all night. As Wright to the plate, 2 on, 1 out. And now Nathan Wall will go out and talk to Wandell, the left-hander from Frostburg State. Quick meeting. Wall immediately back to the plate.
Can you imagine if the Thunderbolts were ahead in this game
Oh,
and
that would,
Gaithersburg was still
yes,
beating the DC Grays out there? Oh
That
my
would-
gosh.
make Saturday a whole different ball game. As that one's fouled off, strike 1.
Make this a whole different ball game. This crowd would be on the edge of its seats.
Yes, and then you go in. T-Bolts would still need to beat the Grays by 10 runs or 11 runs.
But you have
said.
a chance.
Yes.
You just have something to play for.
The Grays would be on their heels, losing 3 in a row. Thunderbolts would be on a 2-game streak. The 0-1, that runs in and hits something, but it hit the knob of the bat of Wright. So It's just a strike after the pitch ran up and in.
The smallest but most consequential word in the English language, if.
If, yes. T-Bolt's not out of this ball game yet, but trailing by
No.
11 runs again.
No lead is safe.
Yes.
I say it over and over again.
The 0-2. A breaking ball called, third strike. Beautiful pitch.
Beautiful pitch from Wandell.
Second time Wright has been retired via the punch-out.
But the T-Bolts would need to score a major inning, like 7 runs or something in the 5th, to get back in the game. It's happened.
Yes. Talk all the time about that 9-run comeback for Bethesda down to the last 3 outs. Here's Cole Hauser to the plate. 2 on, 2 out. First pitch is popped up out of play, strike 1. Hauser on the night has driven in a run. He is 0 for 3 officially. No, that's not right. He has a single, so he's at least 1 for 3. The pitch is in there, strike 2.
Walk, fielder's choice, single, and fly out.
Yes, so 1 for 3 officially.
9 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, it's tough hill to climb, even in a 7-inning ball game, especially so. Rolled over foul. We'll do it again, 0-2. As those 6 extra outs playing a full 9-inning ball game would make a world of difference. Would provide the Thunderbolts more time. But even so, 11-run lead or even 9-run lead, still daunting when they strike early on. The 0-2. Check swing. He went too far. The appeal to first. Yes, he did, says first base umpire Norb Gordon, and the side is retired. Dean Wandell comes on, works a scoreless inning. The Cropdusters get no runs on 2 hits. There were no Thunderbolt errors, and there were 2 men left on base. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. The score remains the Olney Cropdusters 14, the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts 3. This is Thunderbolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network and Tacoma Park City TV.
Welcome back to a subdued Blair Stadium, where the T-Bolts trail 14-3 and basically what we'd call an elimination game.
It is, as T-Bolts lose tonight. They are out of playoff contention officially. Odds were already long coming in, but this will put the last nail in the metaphorical coffin.
There's that word again.
Yes.
Metaphorical.
So we had one earlier today where Jacob called you our metaphorical boss. For context, everyone tuning in.
So if there are any existentialists out there, give us a chat message.
First pitch to Bobby Leitzel's fouled off. It's Leitzel, Yarovsky, Catrone. Top of the lineup due up in the bottom of the 5th. T-Bolts trail by 11.
Other than that,
0-1 down low.
I always wondered what it would be like for a pair of quantum physicists to call a baseball game, because you'd have a ball in 2 places at the same time.
Pitches down and in.
You couldn't identify where the ball is based on the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
Well, if you get
I don't think you'd ever call a game.
if you get Scott Bakula in here, of course he fulfilled the role on Quantum Leap, one of my favorite TV shows from the late 80s, early 90s, as coming out to talk with his pitcher is Cole Hauser. That one, of course, about traveling through time and trying to right the wrongs of history, but you know,
people have looked into that.
Yes.
I think that's impossible to go back into time. There are theories that you can go ahead into time, and there have been some very infinitesimal advances based on a person's altitude, because time goes slower the higher you go. This is what you're talking
Yes.
about, doing an 11-run deficit.
That pitch is fouled off 2-2. Bet you weren't thinking you were tuning into a baseball game and getting a physics lesson, but my
Well,
friend,
we
you
quoted
thought wrong.
the, was it the Higgs boson particle today on the website?
Pitch is chopped to your first base side. Ryan Sheffield flips over to Siles covering for the first out.
Higgs boson particle, right?
Sounds right to me. I'm a journalism major. I am going to school, but the science mumbo jumbo, it's all Greek to me. As here is Bekurovsky.
Higgs boson particle,
There you go.
pardon me.
First pitch swung on and missed, strike one. You're
Like
up.
Schrodinger's cat, you don't know whether it's alive or dead in the box.
The 0-1.
Oh,
Breaking ball in there, strike
that was
two.
a beautiful, speaking of physics.
Yes. Well, physics, the question, does a curveball curve? I believe the physical answer is no. It's another breaking ball in there, strike three, as it was only called the signal for strike two, but that is the third strike as Yurovsky heads to the dugout.
In 1962, the New York Mets had a pitcher named Jay Hook, who was a physics major at Northwestern, and wrote out an equation for how much the ball would curve. It was published in Jimmy Breslin's book, Can't Anybody Here Play This Game? I should bring it in and we can
Sure, just read some
see if
pages
we can
off.
solve
Yes.
for X.
First pitch into Jack Catrone is low, ball one.
Don't mean to make light of the situation, but it's not fun when the T-Bolts are losing by 11 in a game in which they had to win, but
1-0 misses, ball two. It's definitely the case. You come in hopes high, and that 9-run inning just takes all the air out of the place here at Blair
Didn't it?
Stadium. Swing and a miss, strike one.
I mean, it's deathly quiet
Yes.
here.
Still a good turnout here.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch in the dirt. Some fans also coming here to see the Olney Cropdusters, who much buzz around them throughout the year. They put on a good show at their home
And if you're
ballpark.
An Olney Cropduster fan listening, we're glad to have you with us.
That one's flied out to center field. Kavi Castor settles under it and makes the play for the third out. T-Bolts go quietly in the bottom of the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We head to the sixth inning here from Blair Stadium. The score remains the Cropdusters 14 and the Thunderbolts 3. You're listening and watching T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network and Tacoma Park City TV.
So we are back for the next half inning on the T-Bolts Radio Network and Tacoma Park City TV. Neil Levon along with Ian Jenkins. The Thunderbolts change pitchers. They bring in the right-hander Chandler Mohler, one of the three Lander University players on the team. Mohler, mainly an outfielder, has taken a couple of turns on the mound, and here he is again in the top of the sixth inning with his team trailing by 11.
Yes, as his Lander teammates, Garrett Jr. in center field and Ian Jenkins getting the night off. I'm Ian Binky. You announced me as Ian Jenkins coming in from the break.
I did?
Yes. Found that funny, but Jenkins on the bench tonight. He was on the broadcast a couple of nights ago.
I heard him. You had him on in South County.
South County, yes, before game 2 of that doubleheader. So Mohler coming on in his third game of the season on the mound.
Actually, I was thinking why Jenkins wasn't in the lineup because it would be nice for him personally to try to pad some stats for the league and his own career.
Well, he might get some looks here later on in the ball game as a pinch hitter. But Mohler coming in now out of the bullpen. 2 innings pitched this year and has looked very good. 2 perfect innings on the year, 2 strikeouts to boot. So, trying to provide another inning of relief here in a large lead, the T-Bolts trail. So he'll be facing 2, 3, 4, Brait, Marchand, and Shea for the Cropdusters.
That score in D.C., which is of academic interest now, is still 3-0 in the top of the fourth.
At this point, maybe some Grays tuning in. That one's up high, ball 1. Grays fans, maybe not on the radio feed, but tuning in on Point Streak and rejoicing seeing the scoreline here in Silver Spring. They would clinch with a T-Bolts loss. The 1-0, that's inside, and it hits Wright. Hit him right on the back. So that's the first base runner that Chandler Mohler has surrendered over the course this season.
It's the second hit batter tonight.
So now he'll face Joseph Mershon. First time we'll see Mohler work with runners on base against him over the course of the season. First pitch to Mershon in strike 1. Mershon on the night. A single and a walk, around 2 strikeouts. The only Cropduster to not score a run tonight. 8 of the 9 in the lineup have done so. The look over at first. Putnam tag, but it's late on Wright. Long look in from Mohler. Now here's the 1-1. That is popped up here, shallow. It's on the infield. Making the catch is Eli Putnam coming over from first base, making the play on the infield grass. So 1 out, and now here's Ryan Shea. Shea has driven in three runners tonight, 3 RBI for him. Single, walk, sac fly, and a ground out. First pitch, that is high, ball 1.
So we've had a few lineup changes, lots of pitching changes tonight, none of which have helped Silver Spring-Takoma.
Pitches the low, ball 2. Well, when you're kind of desperate for results to go your way, try to shuffle things around accordingly, and just for the T-Bolts, that's not worked out tonight. As here's the 2-0 to Shea. That is grounded here to third. Nice scoop by Leitzel. The throw to second for 1. The throw to first, they're actually the pump fake from Quadros. He wisely holds on to it. They just get the fielder's choice to retire Wright. And either way, that was a nice play by Leitzel at third base.
A nice backhanded stab by Bobby. Good throw over to Quadros covering. Quadros wisely not throwing it.
A couple times that Quadros has held on to the ball at second base. Smart plays for sure. Don't want to risk a throwing error. So now here's Will Baumhoeffer. First pitch, swing and a miss, fastball down low. Baumhoeffer is 1 for 3, single and a walk. Also struck out and grounded out. Look in for Mohler. Here's the pitch. That's inside. A ball and a strike. So Dean Wandell pitched well in his 1 inning of relief. Now Mohler trying to pick up where he left off. Wandell an inning pitch. 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Here comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Out in front of that one, Mohler took something off. Chandler trying to get out of the inning here. Only seen him work 1 inning in both of his outings this season. The T-Bolts do have Gabe Delgado still out there in the bullpen. The 1-2. That is fouled off left side, out of play.
I would think he's just warming up for tomorrow, perhaps. I would think either he or Evan Rochelle would pitch.
I'm thinking it might be Rochelle. But if Delgado works an efficient inning, he could pitch out of the bullpen again tomorrow. Send both of them out with hopefully a good performance to get an ovation in front of a hopefully packed Blair Stadium. The 1-2, that's upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There'd be some symmetry to that as Rochelle began the first game of the year, and it would be symmetrical for him to begin the last. Pitched a great game in that first game.
Yes, he did. Just fell short. Held Bethesda scoreless for so long. The 2-2. It's outside. Count runs full. Runner will be in motion. And that's just been the story of Rochelle's year. Pitched excellent, aside from one outing against Bethesda, and just had not gotten the run support to supplement those great outings.
That's true.
Definitely deserved his all-star nod this season. Here comes the 3-2. That's inside ball 4. So Baumhoeffer will reach. Inning stayed alive for Kavi Castor.
Now batting for the Cropdusters, the center fielder, number 22, Kavi Castor.
Castor, 2 hits on the night, a double and a single. Also hit by a pitch and grounded out to first base. Castor, we mentioned, storied career with the Seagulls of Salisbury University. Led the Coast to Coast Conference, or was second place in pretty much every offensive category. First pitch. That is outside, ball 1.
Not by much. It's a good pitch from Chandler Mohler, just a little bit outside of the strike zone and the corner.
Here comes the 1-0. It's on its way. Up high, ball 2. Castor also had the distinction of catching the final out in the D3 World Series. Clinched the championship title for Salisbury back in 2021. What a feeling that must have been.
I saw the video. And if I'm not mistaken, Benji Thalheimer started that game.
The 2-0 is up and away, I believe so.
His first start.
And well, that's one way to get your first start is get the nod in a national championship deciding game. How about that for your resume? The pitch from Mohler is low in the dirt, ball 4. So Chandler struggling to get the third out of the inning.
The second baseman, number 5, Jacob Orr.
That will send Jacob Orr to the dish with the bases loaded and 2 men out.
The second baseman on that Salisbury team was Stephen Rice, who came up to the T-Bolts and led the league in batting with a .377 average.
And then you also have an only Cropduster on that team, Cameron Hyder. So that team sent a lot of players to the Ripken League. First pitch to Orr. That's in there, strike 1.
I think that'd be something you'd never forget. Nothing they can ever take away from you, winning that college championship.
You got the ring to go along with it. Here's the 0-1 to Orr. That is flied out to right field, but out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. And that's something, if you want to impress during a job interview or a date, just put that ring on your finger and slap it on the table and say, there you go. Here comes the 0-2. That runs up and in, or gets out of the way, a ball and 2 strikes.
A former Thunderbolt, and I can't recall his name, but applied to a law firm. He went to law school, got his law degree, and applied to a law firm. Pitched 2 years in the St. Louis Cardinals organization in rookie ball, but said that was a great calling card when he went out on job interviews.
The 1-2, inside, ball 2. Can imagine so is a pro baseball career, even in the rookie level, still a high distinction. Few baseball players of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of kids that pick up baseballs at the youth level every year.
And a lot of them end there, too.
The 2-2, outside, 3 balls, no strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes, rather, full count. And especially now with the minor leagues being contracted a couple of years ago, fewer levels than there were throughout the course of baseball history. Runners will be in motion. Full count, 2 outs. The pitch. That is grounded through the middle. It's a base hit. 1 run will score. Around third, heading home is Baumhoeffer. Throw will go into third base. Castor is safe. So 2 will cross the plate on the RBI single from Jacob Orr. He now has 4 batted in on the night. It's now 16-3 Cropdusters.
Now batting, the left fielder, number 18.
Well, because this is a 7-inning game, there won't be a mercy. Unless there's some wrinkle in this I don't know about.
Well, the DC Grays, I don't remember if that was a Grays game, but there was a baseball game in the Ripken League a couple nights ago where there were 20-plus runs scored. I think it was a Grays game.
The 21-9?
Yes. I'll look back in the Ripken League record book as that one is popped up left side. Giving it a look is Nathan Waugh, and it will fall in front of him. He lost the ball in the lights and thought it was going out of play, but it landed about 5 feet to his right out in front of the rail of the Cropduster dugout. So there's new life at the plate for Jake Milan.
Then we had that 23-20 game out at South County.
Yes.
Between the Braves and the Aces, was it?
I think that's right. Sounds correct.
That must have been some game to watch.
Aces Cropdusters was that 21-9 score line. That one's blowing inside. It will get away. Scampering home is Kavi Castor. It's now 17. So it was the Cropdusters Aces in that 21-9 score line. Cropdusters got the win, so they're no stranger to high score lines. You have that 21-9 win, 16-2 against the Thunderbolts a couple nights ago, 17-3 here tonight. If they get a wide receiver, they'll be set to take to the NFL. The 1-1. Up and in, having to duck out of the way of it, was Milan. And that Cropdusters Aces 21-9 score, that was game 1 of a doubleheader. And then they had to play another game immediately afterwards. Cropdusters were exhausted. They lost that one 9-4. The pitch is fouled off. Count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes.
They did post a picture of the scoreboard from South County with that score on it to show you it really happened.
One that you have to see to believe. But if you see this Cropdusters team the last 2 games against the Thunderbolts, 33 runs scored, and they're not done yet. Still an out to go here in the top of the 6th and 3 outs in the top of the 7th as time is called by Milan. The pitch, it's outside. Ball 3, ball will get away from Nathan Waugh, and not resting on his laurels, Jacob Orr advances to third.
So the wheels really coming off the bus here for the Thunderbolts. I think you're starting to hear some crowd reaction to all this.
Can be frustrating for them out there. Weather, kind of a humid night, not helping matters. Here's the 3-2 to Milan. It's a foul tip held on to by Nathan Waugh for strike 3. So the T-Bolts get out of the inning, but not before the Cropdusters strike for more. They get 3 runs on 1 hit. There were no Thunderbolt errors, and there was 1 runner left on base. The score is now the Cropdusters 17 and the Thunderbolts 3. For those of you listening, or watching rather, on Tacoma Park City TV, you'll get a report from our own Jacob Goldberg in front of home plate from the stands. But for those of you on the T-Bolts Radio Network, we'll step aside. This is Thunderbolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network and Tacoma Park City TV. Take Jacob.
You know, many of our viewers here on Tacoma Park TV might know the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts over watching in the last few years in the California League. But what you might not know is the Olney Cropdusters. Olney is the newest team across the league, the 7th edition of the California League, and they have done a fantastic job in their first year. Tony Corson, the GM for the Cropdusters, basically wanted to bring an Olney vibe to summer Collegiate League baseball. And what does that include? That includes line dancing in the 7th inning stretch. It includes overalls for jerseys. It includes fans sitting on hay barrels. Really just trying to create a good environment for Olney. And with them having a 14-run lead against the T-Bolts currently, they obviously are looking like a good team as they go into the playoffs and are hoping to bring home a California League title in their inaugural season. Guys, back to you.
Athletic House.
Welcome back to Blair Baseball Stadium, where the Thunderbolts now head into the bottom of the 6th inning in a 7-inning game. And here to take you through this bottom of the 6th is Ian Benke, not Ian Jenkins.
New pitcher on the mound for the Olney Cropdusters is Dane Armson, a junior from University of Richmond. He faces Nathan Waugh and bounces the first pitch for ball 1. Armson, over 6 games this season, thrown 8 innings, a 1-2 record with an 11.25 ERA, 7 strikeouts, 12 walks. So we'll try to keep the ball in the strike zone here. The 1-0 is outside. His last outing came on the 14th against DC. 2 flawless innings with a strikeout. So we'll try to channel more of that here as the 2-0 runs inside, ball 3.
Very quiet press
Yes.
box. I was going to say very quiet stadium.
The 3-0 up high, ball 4. Waugh reaches on a walk, and now Calvin Brown walks to the plate.
And now batting right fielder, number 5, Calvin Brown.
Brown is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. So Armson comes into the game after earlier on picking up a foul ball down the third base line. First pitch is up high, ball 1. And it was announced here he shares a hometown with a Hall of Famer, Montoursville, Pennsylvania, also home to Mike Mussina. Pitch is inside, ball 2. One of the few Hall of Famers to go in without a team to his name. Didn't want to have to choose between the Orioles and the New York Yankees. So went in with a blank baseball cap. 2-0. That is called strike 1.
He came close to a couple of perfect games, didn't he? He missed by 1 out or 2 outs.
Yes. So here comes the 2-1. That is right down the pipe, strike 2. Garrett Jr. stands on deck, hoping to hit with more than 1 runner on if Brown can reach. Stepping off is Armson, wants to see the signs again. Asks his catcher Hauser to repeat them. Here's the 2-2. That's inside. Brown has to get out of the way of it.
For some of these players, this could be their last game of the season, depending upon what Brock Hunter does tomorrow.
That's true. Can't get the whole roster in there. That one is swung on and missed for strike 3. They say he got a tip of it, but doesn't matter as Hauser held on. So Brown is retired. Garrett to the plate.
Garrett Jr.
And, you know, you look at some of the stats lines this year, guys that, you know, are getting their first action in quite a while. You know, Jack Catrone didn't play for a long time coming off of injuries. His pitch is outside to Garrett. Bobby Lightsell, another player that didn't even have a sophomore season at Hartford Community College due to injury. 1-0. Swung on and missed, strike 1. And of course, we mentioned Travis Garnett coming off of Tommy John surgery. A lot of players here for the Thunderbolts are just getting back into the swing of things. A lot of them look very good, and some of them just knocking off the rust still. That one is grounded off of Garrett's foot, so it's just a foul ball. A ball and 2 strikes.
So just looking at the pitching line here, for Bryce Smith, he pitched 3 2/3 innings, gave up 8 runs, 4 of which were earned. Those errors kill you.
They do. Made things a lot harder for the Thunderbolts. Even after the Cropdusters were hitting the snot out of the ball. The 1-2. That is a breaking ball hung too far outside. So Brett Siles' night is done, and with that 9 spot hung in the top of the first, had a lot of cushion. Still pitched well, as the 2-2 misses up and away, ball 3. Siles went 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned. No walks, 4 strikeouts.
Did you say no walks?
No walks.
It's a sign of a good pitcher.
As the 3-2 misses outside, 2 walks here in the inning, puts 2 on, 1 out for Eli Putnam.
Now batting the first baseman, number 4,
And we,
Eli.
in the highlight leading up to this one, Siles had walked more than he struck out coming in, 12 strikeouts, 13 walks, but settled that down significantly tonight. First pitch to Eli Putnam, right down University Boulevard, strike 1.
The Giants are now beating the Grays 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning over in Nats Academy.
As that pitch is grounded here to short, fielding is Brait to second for 1 to first, not in time, and the throw will get away, but it was knocked down by Shea. So it's a fielder's choice, allowing Putnam to reach, and Garrett is retired 6-4 on the putout. But of course, that Gray score to the T-Bolts fans tuning in becomes
A little ironic, bitter.
Yes, becomes trivial. Definitely, as you said, bitter. T-Bolts needed them to lose, but that becomes, as I said, trivial with the T-Bolts losing tonight. First pitch inside to Quadros, but it's called a strike.
But even if you took away that 9-run first inning, it would still be 8-3. The T-Bolts just getting 3 runs in the 3rd inning.
Runner goes from first base, swinging a foul ball from Quadros, so Putnam will have to retreat.
3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for the T-Bolts.
Already said it once, but it bears repeating. When you have the same number of errors as you do runs scored, not the best of signs. T-Bolts look to have cleaned up their defense. Runner goes again. The pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Hauser, but that will allow Putnam to reach second base without a play.
So 2 runners in scoring position for Quadros. 1 out.
That will go as a stolen base for Putnam, as it was ruled that Hauser wanted to throw him out. The pitch is up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So that's one thing that My dad, I know, is not a fan of the rule of defensive indifference. He says if you steal a base, you should get credit for the stolen base. But I say it makes sense. If it doesn't affect the outcome, pitch is high, ball 3. What's the point of chucking a ball into center field and making things harder on yourself? Just let him take it if the run doesn't matter all that much.
It's a strategic decision.
Yes. Should reflect accordingly. The pitch is blooped out here to shallow center field. Under it is a second baseman, or he puts it away for out number 3. So the Thunderbolts threaten again in the inning, but are unable to score. They get no runs on no hits. There were no Cropduster errors, and there was 2 runners left on base. As the Cropdusters take to the field here, I think they're going to rule it as a mercy rule. So the mercy rule may be moved up an inning due to the 7-inning affair in the Ripken League. So that will close the book on the T-Bolts' playoff hopes tonight. It's a 17-3 final score as the T-Bolts fall. They needed to win this one to keep their playoff hopes alive. They also needed help from Gaithersburg and Bethesda.
And they got it.
They got it, but losing by 14 runs tonight made it hard on themselves with a 9-run deficit, and they just could not come back. The Cropdusters all over the Thunderbolts pitching.
So tonight for the Thunderbolts, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors. They used 4 pitchers. The losing pitcher will be Travis Garnett. He is 0-2 on the season. The winning pitcher for the Cropdusters, going 5 innings, is Brett Siles. He gets the win in the playoff clinching. Well, I guess the Cropdusters have clinched a playoff spot.
The Eliminator, yeah.
The Eliminator. Cropdusters 17 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. The Cropdusters left 4, 5, 7, 9, 10 runners on. The Thunderbolts left 5 runners on. Just no doubt about this one, Ian, when the first inning begins with 9 runs. And it was 9 runs, by the way, on just 4 hits. With the 5 walks issued, there was no chance for the Thunderbolts, and after the first inning, that was all she wrote.
Hey, well, you talked about it. T-Bolts were taking a gamble by starting Travis Garnett. He hadn't had his control in the first outing of the season, and Brock Hunter was banking on him having that control in outing number 2, and it just unfortunately didn't have his stuff tonight. Hopefully he can find it before he returns to the University of Maryland and proves to be a vital commodity for the Terps. But just unfortunately tonight, did not have his good stuff. Bryce Smith tried to hold down the fort, but just not enough for the Thunderbolts tonight.
So the Thunderbolts will drop to 11-24, and the best they could do if they win tomorrow is win 12 games. The Thunderbolts have won 12 games in 2010. That was their lowest, well, second lowest. They won 9 games in 2012. In 2010, they won 12. Otherwise, the Thunderbolts have been well over 15 games for the past several years, winning 20 in 2019, 20 in 2016, 20 in 2015, 18 in 2018, and 17 in 2017. So this is a big disappointment.
Yeah, it's a setback year for the Thunderbolts, and from all indications, it looks like there will be a shakeup in terms of player acquisition. It looks like Max Eckert next year will fulfill the role of general manager for the team. So he talked about generating a family environment where everyone is in this together. He kind of talked about, at least from the broadcaster's perspective, how it was a slow start. Talking to the players, it seemed kind of disjointed. Where now we have a close relationship to the players and coaches, but it took some time to develop. But he wants it from day one, having that interaction between the broadcasters, the team, and the fans. And he's also talking about acquiring players from around the country and trying to bounce back from what's been a disappointing season.
And he's got to find, in my opinion, some pitchers who can find the plate with more regularity. I mean, I'm just looking at the stats here, and the numbers don't lie. The T-Bolts ERA as a staff was 6.81, and they issued 208 walks through 35 games, 212 earned runs, 256 scored. So it was not a great season on the mound. The hitters kind of went from being very good hitting in certain situations to having all runners on base. How many times did they come up with runners in scoring position, runners with the bases loaded, could not bring in runs that could have made a big difference in the game? At least 3 or 4 of those games could have been Thunderbolt victories instead of defeats. But that's whistling past the graveyard. But I think Max Eckert's job doesn't start tomorrow, but it would start the day after.
Right. It's, he's still fulfilling his role as an assistant coach, and that's the hope for next season as well. But you coach these guys up until they leave for school tomorrow night, and then after that, you start 2023 season. Brand new team, and might see some guys come back next year. Hopefully that's the case, but if not, fresh faces here at Blair Stadium next season, but still business to take care of tomorrow night.
So that'll do it from here with the final score. Again, the Olney Cropdusters, 17 runs, 13 hits, 2 errors. The Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts, 3 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors. Travis Garnett takes the loss for the T-Bolts, and for the Cropdusters, Britt Sales takes the win. For Ian Benke, I'm Neil Levon. Thanks. We'll be back tomorrow with the final game of the season here at Blair between the Silver Spring-Takoma Thunderbolts and the DC Grays, a little bit before 7. And until then, have a great evening, everybody.